I guarantee there is one thing that you can do that will take you to the next level in your game and make you a really seriously good golfer. And it's this hand here, your trail arm. Understanding what your trail arm is supposed to do in the backswing and also what it's supposed to be doing in the through swing is going to make a massive difference, because I know it does to all the students that I get to work with. So, first of all, the question would be, what is your trail arm supposed to be doing in the backswing position? I think the best way to visually portray this is just to grab a little bit of rope. So if I grab a bit of rope, lasso it together, put my lead arm through it and take hold of the rope now with just my right arm, this piece of rope is now my left arm, okay? So one thing that we notice is that should happen is in the setup position, your arm shouldn't be pulling up, okay? My right arm should be pushing down towards the ground. So it's one, keeping the tension in the rope, but also that's what it would feel like when I'm holding the club itself. Now, as I now simply go into the backswing position, one of the things that my trail arm is doing is it's helping lift my lead arm up in the air. And if you did a few swings left hand only, even with a bit of rotation, you'd notice the way it's quite difficult to lift your left arm up in the air on its own. But if you use your trail hand, it's much easier. So the first thing is that your trail arm is supposed to be lifting your lead arm up in the air in that backswing position. The second thing is maintaining the tension. So we don't want this arm to get too close to you, because all the tension then gets basically stuck. So we want to be lifting and we want to be maintaining width. Now, the problem is with a lot of golfers is they get the idea that the arms are supposed to be really connected, and that's not the case. It might look like that, but again, that's not the case, as you'll see in a moment's time. So I'm going to lift my arm up and I'm also going to make sure it maintains width. Now, the placement of your hand would depend on the left arm position. Okay, so we know that some of the greats have swung the left arm a lot higher. We know that some golfers and some of the greats have swung the left arm a lot lower. Your right forearm will roughly be perpendicular. So if you're somebody who lifts it higher, this is why you'll look like you have more of a flying elbow. If you swing it lower, that's why it will look like you have more of a tucked arm. That part of it doesn't matter, because even if you use the rope as the example, as long as you're maintaining the tension within inside the rope, that's all that really matters coming in towards the golf swing position. So we know this trail arm is supposed to be lifting whilst also maintaining a good amount of width. And this is why one of my favourite training aids, which I stumbled across only earlier this year, is the Swing Buddy, because the Swing Buddy is just a simple rope training aid. But the thing that I like about it most is, one, it's the length of a 7-iron, it's the weight of a 7-iron, and also it's manufactured here by hand in the UK. And if I ever have a student who is really struggling in that backswing position and understanding where to position the club and if they're supposed to turn, I'll ask them just to do a few simple swings with the Swing Buddy. And what I'll always notice is the way they'll naturally position their trail arm into a very good position. And then what I'll do is I'll ask them to then get their lead arm to reach up to that position. And it's that motion there that encourages all the rotation. Too many golfers think a lot about rotation, not enough about lifting your arms up. And that's where you get yourself quite simply out of position. So some of you may be interested in this. There's more details in the description box below. Equally, you can obviously put together your own sort of rope training aid if you wanted to try and emulate those same sort of feels. But the point that I'm trying to make is you need to be lifting this arm. The role and responsibility is this, is a lift. And that's why one of my other favourite drills that I share with students is tuck that right hand underneath your left and make a few swings like so, where you're just lifting your arms up. And that will give you the role and the functionality of the trail arm very much in the backswing position. Now, once that bit's done, the through swing. You want to be releasing that arm coming into the through swing, the same as I demonstrated very briefly with my Swing Buddy. You want to be guiding that golf club through towards your target. So one of the big roles in this is going to be rotation in the golf swing. Because you see, when we turn, and that means when I turn my chest and my pelvis progressively towards the target, what starts to happen is my right shoulder starts to move. And when my right shoulder starts to move, that means that my arm can extend through. But when I work a lot with students, if they're struggling with the hip move, they stand up, or if they're struggling with, excessive sliding, whatever it might be, I always find that I get the strongest response when I get them to look and become more aware of where their hands are. And one of the simplest drills that you can do for the through swing is to get your head to follow your hands. See what I'm doing there? So if you allow your head to follow your hands, this will give you a decent amount of rotation of the chest. It'll encourage your hands and arms to work into that space where you're looking, and it'll make a massive difference. And I promise you, if you can get good placement of the trail arm in the backswing, and then you can turn and get good placement of the trail arm coming into that through swing, it's going to make you a miles better golfer. See you soon.